As we move on, we are going to write an equation with this information and graph it. Not necessarily in that order, actually. Let's start by writing the equation, then graphing it. Then on this one, I think we'll graph first, then write the equation. This one is just crazy. So let's label a few things. First of all, they told me the center of the circle is at -2, -1. Well, that's good to know. There's your h, there's your k, and the radius is 3, so r equals 3. There you go. You know everything there is to know about this problem. So I'm going to write this formula again. The more you write it, the more you'll remember it. And that gives me x minus h squared, y minus k squared equals r squared. And I'm going to plug in my h, my k, and my r, and I'm not going to waste your time with minus a negative this and minus a negative that. X minus -2, that's positive 2. Again, change signs. What's been said in the past is your x lied to you, and it is. So if I looked at this, I'd say, oh, well, the x coordinate of my center is -2, and then similarly, now your y is lying to you as well based on the context and the way it's structured. So y minus -1, so y plus 1, and that's equal to r squared. Do not put a 3 here, put a 9. So in case you need to know what that's for, 9 is 3 squared. There you go. Now let's graph it, and I'm not going to make a big deal out of graphing it. You can graph this online, graph it in Desmos if you like, and type that in exactly the way it is. It'll graph it. You do not have to solve it for y. If you did solve it for y, by the way, it would not be a function because you would have an upper part and a lower part. You'd have to square root, and then when you do the square, you'll do a positive and a negative. It splits into 2 functions. Anyway, I'm off topic. Let's graph it. What color do you want to graph it in? Purple? Sounds good to me. The center is at -2, -1. You know that here, but you know that here. Like if I just handed you this, you would say, oh, -2, -1, -2, -1. There you go. The radius is the square root of 9. Whether I wrote it or not, that's enough information. So down 3, left 3. That's right 3. Whoops. He's losing his sense of direction. I gotta drive home after this. That's bad. There we go. It's one of the best circles I've drawn. All right, let's go ahead and jump to the graph for the next one. And we're going to go ahead and plot our center. So the center is at 4, 2, and we'll stick with purple. So 4, 2, boink. And the radius is 2 square root of 3. 2 times the square root of 3. Well, that doesn't help me much. Let's just go ahead and figure out what that is. So 2 times the square root of 3 is about 3.5. We'll go 3.5, right? Don't get too picky and be like, oh, 3.464, just 3.5. Close enough. So 1, 2, 3.5. 1, 2, 3.5. 1, 2, 3.5. 1, 2, 3.5. There you go. You got a circle. There it is. And that 3.5 is any direction. I just only went up, down, left, and right for it. Okay. Now, don't feel like you have to write this every time, but the more you write it, the more you'll remember it. This one's pretty straightforward, but I like to write it every time, so I'll have some kind of structure to what I'm doing. There we go. And I know the same thing you know. I know this is H. I know this is K. And I know this is R, right? Label them or not, it's up to you. So x minus positive 4, so x minus 4 plus y minus 2 squared, and that was squared also, equals, okay, whoa, I got to square that guy. I'm going to write it down, then I'll explain why it's the way it is. 12. Okay, little side note here, and I didn't leave myself much room, but we'll do it. So 2 square root of 3 needs to be squared. All that's about to happen is going to go right here, and it's the 12. When I square the 2, I get 4. When I square a square root, I get the number itself. So 4 times 3, that's where the 12 comes from, just saying. Okay, for the next one, I'm going to go ahead and start by graphing it. They actually told me nothing. Like, they didn't tell me the center, they didn't tell me the radius, but they did tell me enough to get it. So let's get it. -3, 2 is a point. 5, 2 is a point, and that is the diameter. So if I drew my circle, I would draw it up and down and around. So I need to know where the center is. So there's a segment there that cuts the circle in half. So there's a center on there somewhere, and really this one's easy enough where you can just eyeball it, and nope, 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 looking for the middle, nope, 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 yes. Okay, fairly obvious. However, if it wasn't obvious, that, let's start writing, that HK was 1, comma 2. You can use an old formula, if it was crazy decimals or whatever, you can use an old formula called the midpoint formula, and the midpoint formula is a really fancy way of saying average your x's and average your y's. So here goes, -3 and 5. If you add them together and divide by 2, you get 1, so it's in the middle. And then this one's really pointless, but 2 plus 2 is 4. Divide that by 2. When you average those, you get 2. So average of 2 and 2, that was no surprise. But the average of -3 and 5, still no surprise, but it was 1. Okay, so we know that HK is 1, 2. What we don't know is the radius, actually, but we're just really about to count and find it. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, that was easy. So the radius is 4, and we'll draw it. Don't get too technical with it. So 1, 2, 3, 4 down, 1, 2, 3, 4 up, and we'll go, and we'll go, and we'll go, and we'll go. There we go. That's it. So final answer, write the formula again or not. I'm not, actually. As much as I love doing it, I'm not going to this time. So it's x minus 1, so truly x minus 1, y minus 2 equals 4. Ha, no, 4 squared. There we go.